We'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for everybody for joining. I appreciate your coming on the call. We're breaking new ground with a 6:30 call. Never did that before for a while, so we'll go from there. Rick, do you see Jim Miller on there, or should we just put his financials up?
Yeah, Jim isn't with us.
He said, I think that he was going to try to plant corn tonight if it didn't rain, but it sure looked like it was coming his direction.
I'll go ahead and put the financials up for you if you want.
Yes, please.
You want to hear the minutes while you're doing that?
Yes.
Because I'm sorry I didn't have time to type these up. I have been doing taxes nonstop. Okay, so March 19th, 24. We had a quorum and all kinds of people there. Tom called meeting to order. Jim Miller gave the financial reports. Somehow we didn't approve those, but that's okay. Joe Bachto said the old debt was $7,000 in alumni and $19,000 in fees and penalties from past members. Financial Task Force, Al Osterlin, reported that the chapter has no clue where they are, and they are not properly using the Omega Phi. He's been working with them to get Ameren to do the residential energy and budget billing. They are $847 in late fees. Now, I wasn't sure if that was Ameren or if that was Wi-Fi. I think that was their electric bill, Al, but I didn't have a good note on that. Chapter is a spreadsheet that tells what every man owes and needs to pay, and the alumni will bill the alumni who are in deficiency. There was no report from Susan or Matt. Fraternal law, there was a motion to employ fraternal law to draft a 99-year lease with SIU. John Christopher is the contact, and that motion passed to spend some of the donated money for fees and retainer. There was election of the vice president for TAJ, and let's see, we approved on a motion by DJ and TAJ to pay the E&O insurance fidelity bond. And the Tom reported that on May 1, there will be a showcase of the architect's drawings for the building at Carbondale. The reunion is planned for July 26th to 28th. Sluky Ball is April 20th, which was this weekend, and nobody called me, no takers. And graduation will be May 11th. And there was an agreement to have a regular scheduled board meeting on the 4th week of every other month. That would be Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Tom, I apologize. These minutes were in March. I marked my calendar for May every other month. So we'll go every other month from here, right?
We will. And
there's your minute. So,
good job. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Any additions or corrections?
I'll get them written up for you.
Hearing none, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Kevin.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, sounds good. So Rick, are there any other pages there on this financial report from Mr. Miller?
No, it's just the one. Oh, I'm sorry, you're talking to Rick Story. No, just
Rick
the
Story.
one.
There's two pages. There's this page here, Tom, the balance sheet, and then there's this page here, the income statement.
Oh,
okay.
Mine didn't print that way. I'll be damned.
Okay.
Huh.
All right. Sounds good. I have, trying to keep the order of the agenda much as possible, but we're gonna be flexible. I don't see Braden and Ryan on here. Do you see them on here, Rick?
No, I do not.
Okay, that may actually work to our advantage. Financial task force. The subject is restoring financial viability to the house finances. Al, you are up.
Okay, well, we have met multiple times since the last board meeting, and I will say that I think we've made substantial progress, and a lot of the early progress that we had to make was discovery. And I say by discovery, we had to learn the ins and outs of Omega Phi and their billing system and all the rest of that. And in doing so, I mean, we worked on principally rent and utilities, as those were the areas that we had the data on. And we did, Tom was able to get through Ameren a budget billing set up. And so that's good. And so really, otherwise, I mean, I think we finally got an understanding. The chapter has an understanding of where we are, where they are, and where they need to be. And in looking at all of this, what we agreed to do was any of the back debt, old debt, guys that are no longer in school that Joe is trying to collect, we'll utilize to pay 2 of the back months in rent that is in arrears, and the other 2 months, which really is only from this school year, the chapter is responsible for, and they're taking ownership of that, and collectively as a chapter, they're raising the money to get it paid. And I think one of the real positive things coming is they are sending us a check, the first check for the $7,600 that they owe us. The first check will be coming probably within a day or two here. It's $3,000. So they've been doing a number of projects in the community together, getting paid for them. And they have earmarked all of this money to go ahead and get their rent debt cleared up and before the end of the year. So I think we've made substantial progress in that respect, and feel real good about all those types of things. We've also agreed to take over make sure that the billing of the rent in Omega Phi is done correctly every month. And so as we move forward into next year, we're looking at a 9-month billing instead of 12, which I think will help everybody involved. So we've got that process begun to be set up. We do have the billing dates from the summer. We finally got those taken care of this past week. Omega Phi helped us get those in place. And so again, I feel like we've made substantial progress. Are we completely there yet? No, but considering where we started from, I think we're doing very, very well. There's lots of detail to this. I'm not going to go into all of that. I bore you with that. If you've got questions about any of that, please, I mean, I can bury you in detail if you want it. But I think the bottom line is we've got a handle on what we're doing and where we're going, and we're going to get there. So Tom, I don't know, you have any other things to add?
No, one of the structural changes that we had to make in Omega Phi was that we had to align ourselves with Megafy and get the billing to start on the to go out on the 5th with the collection date of the 20th and of each month. And one of the problems I think got us in kind of difficult spot was that the billing up until now was really after the fact. And so they never had the funds, or the money got taken out to pay Peter instead of Paul. And so late fees will start by the end of each month. And I think that's pretty strategic that we're getting that done. And then also, like Al alluded to, we're going to go to 9-month billing for the new school year. And I think that should help. And then just as a sidebar, for the types of things that the Active Body is doing to raise money, they're doing a plasma drive where everybody that that participates, $100 goes to Beta Alpha. They painted a couple of barns in Lake County, Illinois, and earned a couple $1,000, I think, or maybe 1,000 recently. So they seem to have all hands on deck on raising funds, and we've told them over and over again that you know, we're all in this together. We need to fix it, but we're proud of them for taking on the initiative of fundraising.
Hey, Al, just,
Little clarification. Now, Jim's report shows that January, February, March, and April rent, 15,200 is receivable. The 70, how does that relate with the 7,600 you mentioned?
Well, essentially they're 4 months behind, but the 2 of the 4 months are prior to this year.
Okay,
And so the agreement that we made with the active chapter was, if they will catch up the 2 months that they're in arrears this year, that as alumni, as we're collecting this old debt, we'll put that towards those other 2 months that are in arrears, because some of this stuff is old. I mean, it's much older than probably even last year.
okay.
And if we if we collect all of the, which, you know, chances are we're not going to collect it all, but if we did collect it all, that of the old debt, it'll more than pay that back 2 months. I mean, I think that number somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000. Is that right?
You're really close, 19.2, and before fees, it's like 7,600. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? And as Al said, there's a lot of details. We want to kind of give you an overview of where we're at, and that we've made progress, but we don't want to bore you to death with the minutia.
Al and company, great job. Thank you. Question. You mentioned the alumni debt. Where are we at with collecting that?
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the?
Not necessarily alumni debt, but past due debt.
Joe Bockhold has approached most or all of the individuals. A couple people have promised payments. A couple people have gone on radio silence, and it is. But there's like a couple that we're going to go on payment plans. Zach Sproul, and I think a Jordan Street, if I remember right, had promised to go on payment plans. But Joe was finding that he was getting some resistance or radio silence from these people after they had initially called him. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've said everybody before, we're taking these individuals' collections after May 1. I believe it would be prudent for somebody to raise a motion approving that we are taking these individual to collections. I want to make sure that the board is in alignment with the financial task force as well as Joe Bachhold, that we're taking this step because it's a unprecedented step, and it's not something that we should be taking lightly, as it it could cause some blowback in some unintended ways. Is there somebody that would be willing to raise that motion?
Tom, I need a clarification. Taking them to collections, what do you mean by that?
What that means is they are via Omega Phi. Omega Phi is informed that we are sending these individuals to collections, and then Omega Phi will go after these individuals, or their collection agency will, and then they'll for anybody that has ever taken anybody else to collections, it's all about reaching out to them, getting a settlement, or doing whatever steps are necessary to get the money.
So essentially a collection agency is going after them.
Yes.
Okay. So it would go on there. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Kevin, we haven't ever gone through the process with Omega Phi, because Omega Phi, there is a little, there's part of the program in there that they don't automatically take somebody to collections. You have to designate them, essentially check the box and say, take these people to collections. So the exact process at this point, that's all we know. We don't know if they send Guido, if they take them to court. That's something I guess we'll find out. But I'm sure this isn't the first time they've ever done that, and this is what you pay them for.
That's why I was wondering if we're going after contacting their employer or putting a lien on their wages, or how involved they were going to be on that.
I don't have all the answers for you, Kevin. I just know that for a multiple number of individuals that either have made promises and haven't delivered, or have gone on radio silence, that we need these funds, and our patience of waiting for them to contact us can't last forever.
I think
It goes without saying that you guys feel very confident in the documentation that you know what they owe.
Yes.
I move to turn the delinquent members over to collection agency or to Omega Phi, however you need to word it. I move it.
Is there a second? DJ,
Second.
is there discussion?
Before that's done, one final contact with them, put them on notice. Hey, if they don't respond, give them a second chance or a third chance, whatever it is. Put them on notice that their name will be put on a list of collections, so they're aware that the next step is being taken.
And
Have they not been told that we're going to go to collection May 1?
I kind of left this up to Joe.
Okay.
He's taken this task on, and I told him in our last conversation that we need to ratchet up the pressure on these individuals, and to tell them quite clearly and bluntly, next step will be collections. And I wanted to emphasize to the group that if they're being reasonable with us, if they're doing a payment plan, if they're not going on radio silence, no, we're not going to take them to collections.
I would agree with that, and I would amend my motion to say that after notification, if they have not made payment arrangements by May 1st, then we're gonna take it into collections after notification.
Second
Well,
agree.
because the notification's important because they had some issues with old email addresses, contact information where they actually couldn't reach the guys. So, yeah, very important. I agree, Tej.
I think it has to be in writing somehow. That's what I'm told here.
Which in writing, Rick? I missed that.
The notice of the delinquency, how much is due, and it's gotta be mailed to them. So you gotta give them a notice of what it is, how much is due, and they need to pay by a certain date. And then I think they have like 10 days to respond that. Then you gotta go through the process with another notice, which would be Omega Phi. And then the third part would be an attorney for collection.
Okay.
My,
Where do you,
I
can you send that, that documentation, to Joe and I and Al?
Yeah, I can, I just went through an attorney to do that, here in Illinois anyway. So I'll see if I can get, a summary of it. He did it all. I didn't do it, but he told me what he had to do.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Tom,
yes,
yeah, I think too, probably the best thing we can do is use our contact there at Omega Phi and ask them on what their procedures are when we check the box. They may do all of that.
Okay.
Because they don't do anything unless you specifically request for an individual. I don't know that. I'm just saying we probably should go through our contact that's there and ask them what their procedures are.
sounds good. I have it written down and, I'll follow up with them, tomorrow and, get this a little more defined. I mean, admittedly, this is new ground and I'm not aware of everything there is to know, but, to Al's point, I think Mega Phi is pretty much all around clicking of the boxes and making sure that, we're giving them approval.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tom, you're right on. We have gone to collection with an attorney in Carbondale about 12 years ago with about 6 guys. So, but we use an attorney to do it in Carbondale.
Got it. Okay.
I think once I'm just kind of speaking out loud here, but I think once we get this established and know the process, I think in a future meeting, I would be happy to say this is just the process that is in place going forward. Did I lock up?
No, you're moving. You're okay.
All right. You locked up for a second on me, Tom, and I thought we got some storms in the area. Maybe I lost internet for a second.
Motion on the floor.
So there's a motion on the floor. There was a second. Move to close discussion.
So
All
moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Did we all go deaf?
We might have lost Tom. Maybe that's
I
why.
saw,
What was
I
that
saw
thing?
2 voices and 2
Thumbs.
I
I'm still here.
Okay.
I was muted, okay?
Okay. So let's see, identifiable votes. Does that, when that went quiet, did that motion carry?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Motion carries. And Rick, I'll look for your information, in the next, day or so. And that would really be helpful. because we want to do this right, and we want to guide Joe in doing it the right way.
Okay.
Fair enough. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Tom,
Yes, sir.
when you hear back from Omega Phi, would you just shoot us a quick note as to what those procedures are so we have a good understanding of what the process is? Just to enlighten us some.
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, and so just to be very clear, 19,000 in fees and past debts, 7,200 in actual fees that people owe, and you know, we don't. This is uncharted territory, but we'll let you know. And DJ, to your point, I will send out a note tomorrow after I talk to them live.
So 19,200 in debt and 7,000 is what, Tom?
Al, do you know that number right
You
off the top of your
froze, Tom.
No, I don't.
Can we get that back to you in a minute?
Yeah.
A lot of this debt goes back to like 2013, 2014, and maybe even some farther than that. So there's a pretty good history on this. And I'll also will call Joe Bachhold, and I will reinforce with him what we're doing and that we do have the board's support.
Did you mean 2023? Or did you really mean 2013?
2013.
Oh, boy.
I did mean 2013.
What I show here, if I'm looking at all of these guys, is $17,958.73. But some of this, according to that's already been charged off. The total number is $21,170.04.
To my knowledge, only one individual has sent a check, and I think it was for about $135. So that's the only money in the bank we have received. But I go on vacation next week. I'm coming back on the 5th, and Joe and I are going to have a good conversation that week about where things stand, and we're going to move forward. Okay.
Most of this stuff is old. I mean, old. 20s. The last payment on some of this is 2017, 2018, 2019. There's one that's Zach Spruill was August of 2023, but all the rest of this stuff is old.
Okay.
To give you,
Next on the list is Rick. Did you have a chance to get a hold of John Christopher at Fraternal Law?
I did get a hold of,
John Christopher, and had a nice introductory meeting. I told him that the board had voted to employ Fraternal Law to represent us with our housing program in Carbondale, and that we felt that we needed to take an action to try and get things off dead center. And that would be to draft a contract for a 99-year lease of ground with SIU. And I told him, I said, I can tell you it hadn't been surveyed. I don't know if the university has a surveyed, but I can tell you that the street address that we want is 116 small group. And he says, that'll be fine for this initial draft. He says, I'm sure it's gonna, take a while. And then I said, John, we gotta have your recommendation, and you've got to do one other thing for us. Um, we need a housing corporation, hopefully non-for-profit, if I understand that correctly. And then we also need tied into that a 501c3, because we will be doing fundraising, which is covered under 501c3. The housing corporation is under another code, seven something. Anyway, he knows what he's doing. Anyway, I told him it was a two-part, and our motion didn't cover that second part, but we can't do the first one without doing the second one. So we have to have a new structure, because our old 501c3 was terminated, and there was a letter sent terminating that many years ago. So he was on board. He understood completely. He thanked us. He said, "I will get you 2 lists of things that I need to put together, and I will also draft a retainer fee." He said, "Now I won't be doing all of the work." He says, "I have an assistant that is very, very good in real estate, and she'll deal with the real estate part, and I'll deal with everything else." He had a big project going that was consuming him for a while, and that's why he didn't get back to me until I think it was Monday. Yeah, I think it was Monday that I got all this information. So anyway, we're on board with him, and he said, "Great, look forward to working with you guys."
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions for Rick?
Rick, did you mention to him the problem or situation if we went through the foundation at SIU and it was a 5-year lease? Did you mention that problem, or
I did not mention that part to him, because I thought I understood that our number one priority was to build the house ourselves and just lease the land for 99 years.
okay,
And he understood that. If we have to go a different route, depending on whatever circumstances come up, we'll get him to address it.
okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Okay. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but it's pretty important. On May 1, will be the School of Architecture. Rick or Chuck, do you have any updates for us on that? And are we still scheduled for May 1? And will you two still be able to make it?
Yes, both Chuck and I are scheduled to be down there. We have our hotel rooms booked. And we will be there for all 15 presentations, and I'll record them all and have them all on the website for anyone that wants to view them.
Have you had any recent contact with Rolando?
Just a little bit, maybe Chuck, if you can unmute, if you have anything more to say about Rolando. I know he went and took a site survey. He went to the land with, I think he went with the students, and they looked at it to see what they could or couldn't do in that area. And I think they were all set, and he did send me his outline of what they were going to do and all their requirements for the class, and it all looked good, and we're anxious to see what they have to do, what they have to present.
I would be down there in a heartbeat if it wasn't for this out of country vacation. It's exciting to me to think about what they're going to be showing you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Any other questions for Rick and Chuck?
Do you need to tell them who all's coming, Rick?
We've told them so far that Chuck and I will definitely be there, and Ron Brohammer is a maybe.
Okay,
That's all that no.
I had put it on my calendar as attending.
Okay, if you are, then I can certainly send Rolando to let them know that you're going to be there as well.
Okay.
Just let me know if that's a for sure.
Rick, it's highly weather dependent for me. I definitely can't say I will be going, but if it's raining and I'm all caught up and I've got time, I might be able to go. Where is it at and what time?
1 to 5 on May 1. School of
Yeah.
Architecture.
Yeah, I'm not sure what building or anything specific. Do you know, Tom?
Um, I remembered at the time and I kind of dropped it. It's there's like a kids playground on the north side and it's right across the street from Woody Hall.
Oh,
All of us
cool.
of this era would certainly remember going to Woody Hall for the Woody Shuffle. I can get you the name of that building, the official name of it. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but it's down in the basement of the building and School of Architecture, and it's a building that also has like a school attached to it, daycare operation. But I'll get
Tom?
everybody's name.
Tom, that's the old home ec building.
You're right.
That's the
You
old
are
home
right.
ec building, just across the street to the east from Woody Hall.
That's exactly right. But
I'll give you a call, Rick, if I am able to go. I won't know till the night before.
absolutely. Thank you. Okay. We're knocking this out pretty well. There was old business. Rick, you asked for kind of a policy to be put forth. And I wrote something up. It's in the agenda. And it was a rough draft. And the idea was to get conversations started so that we had a policy for donations in event of a brother passing away. If you want me to read it, save you some trouble, I will, unless you want to read it yourself.
Do you want me to post it, Tom? Was that in the agenda?
That's in the agenda. Yeah, that'd be even better. Post it. Nobody wants to hear my voice.
All right, great. Give me a second.
Yeah, I read it through
The agenda, Tom, and I do think it's right that we have a policy. The basic thing that to me, it's a memory, it's a fairness issue. And basically what I'm reading here is if somebody lets us know and Rick Story happens to pick up the obituary someplace, then we're going to recognize a deceased brother with a memorial. Flowers kind of tell those attending of our love and support. But a lot of times we don't know it until it's too late. The funeral's done and over with. So that was the only question that came to my mind as I read through it.
The reason that I wrote it the way I did with will not make donations for every brother that dies is because eventually that could be a pretty healthy dollar amount, and I think we should be more than willing to do it, but I think we should watch our dollars.
And the only other thing
That I kind of mentioned there is, flowers are nice, but flowers don't do anything. Flowers are going to change in price. Like I bought some flowers for my secretary here. We had a little bit of a tragedy here. I had I don't know what I told you on my assistant, secretary, whatever you want to call her. She lost her only son. he died of an asthma attack. 14 years old. They were out for a walk and he came down from upstairs and said, "Mom, I can't breathe. I can't breathe." They did CPR, called 911, worked on him at the hospital, and he didn't make it.
That's terrible.
Well, I know. Thank you very much. Let me tell you, I've been through hell here. I've had nobody. I'm doing it all. But anyway, my point is I bought her a little vase with 3 roses as she came back part-time. It cost me $50. So
Yep.
I'm thinking of some memorial for something rather than flowers might be more appropriate.
Rick,
Hey,
I think
hey,
you hit
hey.
it on the head there. It's got to be a special situation. This is getting to be a more mature group, and people are going to die. That's life. But if it's a special situation, yeah, then under the direction of the treasurer president, they can make a judgment call. But yeah, it's got to be something different, something special, a special person, or a very unfortunate situation that we need to be involved with that.
Now, Rick, this cut flower thing, that's part of my new business. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
flowers.
Okay. Okay, should we say artificial flowers?
Oh, goodness, no.
Well, that's funny. Would somebody be willing to make a motion and they are free to edit, delete whatever they want here? This was just a purpose of starting a conversation. And if you don't like something, change it. And let's put it up for a vote so that we have something in play.
Okay.
Well,
If you're just starting the conversation, Tom, would you mind if we kind of thought about it, worked over a little bit and did it at the next meeting? Would that be okay?
Of course it would.
Okay, let's do that. I saw it
Postpone.
when
I move that we table it until the next
table
meeting.
it. There you go. Second.
All right, sounds good. Okay. So what we have left this evening, unless I have missed something, is summer reunion, July 26th through 28th. We're going to bring Mike Nauman on in a bit to talk about that, but I think that Susan Graham might be in the waiting room, and we're going to bring her on for an update on the house project.
I don't see her yet, Tom.
I'll mute and I'll call her. Or is Mike Nauman on?
he's there.
Mike is on. Mike is on.
Mike is on?
Yes.
All right, let's jump ahead, get Mike Nauman on here, and then I'll text Susan to say we're 10 minutes away.
So where would you want me to start? With the help of Tom and Jake, we scheduled with John A. Logan College. I've been talking to Wayne Griffin down there. They're excited. Wayne may be on vacation, but then he gave me the name of another professor that's over the occupational building. So they'll be doing the tour there at John A. Logan. We've got the deposit paid on an event venue hall. It's just a Morton building, made up pretty nice on the inside. And so that's after the John A. Logan, we would go back, since we're only about 15 minutes from that building, the event hall, and have the meeting and lunch. After that, we head to Alto Pass, which is about a half an hour drive. So half hour, 40 minutes to get to Rendleman Orchards. And then I had a lot of people ask me that we needed to do something for spouses. So that's where the Havisham bar came in, bourbon bar. And it's not cheap. It's real nice. It's a nice place, but it's not cheap. So they talked about it. What I've got scheduled there is a private room with a private bar for a private guided tasting. And so that would include 4 spirits, and cover the cost of that private room rental. The fee that I had on there, which was $75 a person, because that private room is $500. They do have a smaller room that doesn't put you in a private area for the tasting. That's right off the main bar, and that would be $350 to rent that room. But you'd still have a guided tasting with 4 spirits. So that's how that came about. If you guys want to cancel it all together, I'm fine, and we can see if people just want to go up to the bourbon bar, because it's only a mile from the Rendleman Orchard. So if we had people that decided that they wanted to go there, the bus line already knows that there might be a group that stays on the bus and goes up to that bourbon bar. And then a tasting only takes about 45 minutes. So I've allowed an hour, and that would give them time to do their tastings. If they wanted to purchase anything, they could, and turn around and come back to Rendleman Orchards and spend about 45 minutes at their farmers market if they wanted to. It's going to be July. It's going to be hot. So, that's one of the reasons why we've gone with another charter coach again. And that's a 56 passenger bus. On Friday, I've got registration from 3 to 8. My wife and I will be down there the night before. We'll set up the hospitality room starting, from 3 till 8. Anybody that comes in is welcome to. We tried to have Walker's Bluff Casino, but they were out of the question as far as prices. So if you did want to go down 5 miles down the road, you're welcome to. And then of course dinner will be on your own that night, like it normally is. And there are some restaurants at Walker's Bluff if you wanted to go there and eat. And then Saturday morning we'll start. I'll get up bright and early like I always do, head down to the event hall. We'll probably have that decorated that morning, and then start taking what few registrations might come in early, and hop on the bus at 8 o'clock and head to John A. Logan. So that's where we're sitting. And then I've done we're talking about attendance and how people are maybe more secure in their finances than others. So I tried to do a 3-tier pricing so that the actives would pay the least, or anybody who graduated in 23 and 24. And then PIN numbers that were 700 or less would pay $100. 700 and greater would pay $75. And then actives would pay, and people who graduate in 23 and 24 would pay $40. So that's just to try to get people back. And I may mention that if we got at least 10 actives, we'd refund theirs back to the house so that they could pay some of that refund would be used for their fees or rent or whatever they wanted to use it for. Tom knows about that a little bit if you want to explain on. I would say even if we don't get 10 actives, if we got 5, 6, 7, we still refund that fee to them. So that was something I threw out there. I don't know if you ever shared that, Rick, with everybody, that tiered pricing, but that's where I'm at.
I've not shared pricing yet. I'm
Okay.
gonna work on, you've given me quite a challenge with the three tiers. So I will work on that next year, especially when it's tied to PIN number. So I think I have an idea how to do it. And I will work on that next week. And then I'll give it to you to take a look at before I actually send it out to everybody.
Okay.
But I love a challenge, so this will be.
Hey, Mike, I
Yeah.
got a few questions to fill in the holes on my notes here.
Sure.
Friday from 3 to 8, where's the hospitality at?
Okay, so I've booked. I have a block of rooms booked at the Holiday Inn in Carbondale.
Holiday Inn, okay,
Yep, out there where we're usually at,
okay,
and they have offered us a hospitality room. There's no extra charge for that, and so that's where we'll have that set up.
okay. Where's the dinner Saturday night?
The dinner Saturday night will be at the event venue also, which is
Yeah.
only about 2.5 miles or
Oh,
2 3/4 miles down the road.
okay, so we're gonna be there for lunch and then we're gonna be back there for dinner then.
Yep.
Okay, all right, then I want to share a comment with you. I've been to John A. Logan, and I've also been to Rendell Orchards. And I can tell you, my wife is going to want to go to John A. Logan and the Rendellman's Orchards. It's a fun time. That gift shop they have, if anybody's been there, is just fabulous. And I personally would like to go to the bourbon bar too. So I just wanted to make that comment that I think there are going to be a lot of people who want to go to those other two places too.
I'll tell you what, the enthusiasm from Wayne Griffith at John A. Logan is he can't say enough good things about Jake Rendleman.
Yeah.
I mean, he thinks his position is there at John A. Logan because of Jake Rendleman. And then when you talk to Tom hooked me up with the Cyril's, I think it is,
Yeah.
at Rendleman College or at Rendleman Orchards. Michelle can't say enough good things about anybody from SIU or the whole countryside down there. And so it's just amazing. And when I was down there in February for the active alumni meeting and drove out to Rendleman Orchards and so forth, I didn't meet with Michelle that day. She was out of town, but I took that back road out of Alto Pass that goes down past into Cobden then and back up. And I'll tell you what, if there is a way to get that bus on that crooked, crazy road back to Carbondale safely, I'd say that's the route we need to take. But
Okay.
I wouldn't put the bus driver through that.
Okay.
Is that old 51?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, we had a bus on there. We had a bus on there for a wine tour a number of years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, it's doable.
Wanted to let everybody know that the SIU Alumni Association is going to use Rendleman Orchards this year as a fundraiser. So they'll ship out either 6 or 12 peaches or apples, and in return, Rendleman's going to give the SIU Foundation a rebate of sorts. And the SIU Alumni Association is really trying to dial into using alumni's resources and companies. And so, but quite coincidentally, for total clarity, the boxes that are going to be shipping out this fruit, these peaches or apples, just coincidentally comes from my company. I don't know how that happened.
Well, to tie into that, Tom, the Alumni Association is scrambling to try and figure out some fundraisers because they voted to eliminate the dues to be an alumni at SIU. So now you all are officially an alumni of SIU. There's no more dues to be an alumni. You attended and graduated, you're in.
I'm real happy about that $500 I paid a long time ago, you know.
Yeah, I hear you, Ted. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Mike? And I want to give Mike a lot of credit for a
Yeah.
lot of hard work. And you've done a great job, and it's not easy putting on a summer meeting, but you really ironed a lot of great details out, and your help is really appreciated. And I think this will be a summer meeting to remember.
Ton of great work. Sorry,
As
sorry. I
far
wish I
as-
could be there.
As far as costs go, lunch and dinner is $40 a person. If you know, and I've based all my costs, and I don't know if Rick ever shared that with you, but I've based all my costs. It looks like we're going to be in the hole about $650, but I've really jacked up some prices as far as decoration, snacks, and drinks and everything. So I don't think it'll quite be that bad. But the one thing I'd really like to see is some actives, since I think they'll probably stay down there for free in the chapter house, so that they shouldn't have any room and board to deal with. So even at $40, I think they might take the bait and attend. I hope.
You've got rooms at the room or the rooms at the Hampton too, that's right there?
I have not booked anything there since I didn't call to book. I actually blocked off 40 rooms at the Holiday Inn, and they didn't bat an eye. They were like, okay, but they're only holding them till June 27th or 8th, so which
Okay.
I got those rooms booked at 119. She first came back at 129. I said, come on, can't you go down 10 more bucks? And she did. So
That's an incredible rate. You can't stay anywhere in the middle of nowhere for $150 anymore. So good job.
So and then Sunday morning, I know a couple of us have also ate at the Sunny Street Cafe, and Tom helped me out there also with calling them, and they have done groups of 35 to 40 people, 50 people before, so they were excited about having a group out there on Sunday morning. So once again, you'll pay for your own meal that day, but they definitely have the space in the room for us, and they're looking forward to having us there on Sunday morning.
Excellent.
Mike, you're awful close when you're at Rendleman's there. You're just south of Von Jacobs Winery and Brewery, and you're
Yep.
not that far away from Bald Knob Cross either.
No, you can see the ball. I drove that road when I left Rendleman's Orchards that day, and the Havisham Bar, and yeah, there's actually a historical marker there for the Rendleman family that settled in that area back in I can't remember the day. It's right there, across too. So
Yeah.
So-
And that
so
time
Mike-
period, the end of July, they'll be in the middle of their peach crop. So
yeah,
I think they'll have peaches, but this year I'm having peaches at my place, so I won't be buying any down.
So Mike, can we stop by the Bourbon Bar too?
you can you'll have to stay on the bus to get to the Bourbon Bar if you're on the bus, or you could drive yourself and go straight to the
Okay.
Bourbon Bar and then come back to the Orchard. But
Okay.
Where's that at, Mike? The Bourbon Bar.
it is as you're coming into Alto Pass from the north.
Yeah.
The road Y's right there to the left. And
Okay, so it's in Alto Pass.
Yeah, it's right on the main street. And she says they have buses pull up there all the time. And it's really unique. They had a private meeting. Well, the same place you'll do your taste testing in is their private room, but it was really dark. It would have been really crowded if we had any attendance at all. And
Yeah,
so
I'm looking
that's
at
why I changed our schedule around so that, well, I didn't want people drinking in the morning anyway. So that's why I changed our schedule around so that people were doing their bourbon tasting in the afternoon instead of in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, if you take that back road back, you go by Jim Tweedy's place.
Mm-hmm. So
And there'll be a tour of Rendleman's during that time, right, Mike?
yes, yeah. They're gonna give us a tour of their processing of the peaches right then. How they wash, box, everything shipped and everything. And then we'll have time to spend there. So
No hables español.
Um, so, okay, anybody else have anything else for, Mr. Nauman?
Tornado warning.
Mike, just thank you very much.
oh, you guys are welcome. I'm glad we chose Carbondale this year with Jake getting his honor a few years ago. So and Jim Miller helped me out quite a bit too, because the first thing he said was like, if we're gonna have it in Carbondale, we got to get to John A. Logan and go, honor Jake at his ag laboratory then. So
Absolutely.
it wasn't just me.
Hey, permission to go off the agenda for just a second. How is Jake?
Yeah.
Jake fine? I saw there was a health issue going on there.
The last I heard, Rick, I think you got the last text.
Yeah, he had flu symptoms and he went back in the hospital. That's the last I heard. It was just let me see when it was. It was Deborah Payne has been texting me his status. She said that on Sunday, so last Sunday, was running fever and fatigued, back in Heron Hospital checking him out. I told her to keep us posted. I haven't heard yet.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Mike, again, thank you. We are going to go on now to Susan Graham, and Susan has some updates on the project. If you want to admit her, that would be terrific.
Okay, I'll admit her right now. Okay.
Good evening.
Hi, Susan.
Good evening.
Susan,
I haven't gotten blown away yet. Tom, did you get blown away earlier? You guys had it rough.
A lot of rain, a lot of wind, but no damage here. But it looked like there was more wind and tornadoes in on the Illinois side. But to our west, down there along 44, it looked like it. I was cooking dinner. I didn't have time to really watch TV, so I don't know if anybody's any injuries or anything. But yeah, it was quite a storm.
Well, it's showing my internet connection is unstable, so just heads up, because the wind is just starting. So I might be cutting in and out. Sorry, guys. I might try to log in on my phone.
We hear you. We hear you loud and clear right now.
Okay, good. So let me go from there. I did talk with Matt. Am I still coming through? I'm gonna turn my video off. Maybe that'll help. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
We can hear you.
Okay,
That
I'm
might
gonna
be a
leave my
good
video
idea.
off and maybe that will help.
Yep.
I talked to Matt this afternoon and he is bringing a consultant in, as he said he would. So he is working on that. He also has talked to Mark Owen, our facilities director, and they are optimistic that we are going to see the buildings, those two buildings on Greek Road, Old Greek Road, torn down this summer. He has the money in his budget, so we're not going to have to put any other money with it. PSO or FEM is what's called now, will be tearing the buildings down. And it looks like they're optimistic that is going to happen this summer. So that's a step forward. And then he would like to, once we get through Saluki Ball this weekend, I leave on a train in the morning, and he was already supposed to be in Chicago. I think his flight got canceled this evening because of the weather. But we're going to review what we have from that session we had in Effingham with several of you, where we went through and figured amounts. And he said we're going to continue to push forward. Once we sit down, we want to look at restarting that fundraising part and we'll go ahead and get started with set and move forward with that table of gifts we have. So everything's still looking good. He was gonna first, he's like, I should apologize to them, but he says they're not gonna want to hear everything that's going on. No. All the main thing is we need to know what have you done and where are we going. So I'm not going to offer any excuses for him. There has been a lot going on campus with the basketball coach who was very heavily in that. And then with Saluki ball that we have going on this weekend in Chicago. So, but I did actually, he called me. I didn't have to call him today. I sent him a text and said I need an update, and he
Susan, can you hear me?
Left call. No, she's still there. She just may not have any connection.
I like the idea that the money is in the budget. I've been wanting to know how that was going to work. I didn't know if that had to be approved by the another entity. So that bodes well that they are that they already have the money in the budget. What the question I wanted to ask Susan is,
She's coming
what-
back on now, Tom. She's coming
Okay.
back on.
All right, we'll try it this way. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, it's really storming outside, so I went with my phone.
Okay.
Where did you hear me? Where did I leave off when it cut me off?
You sent it to man.
Okay, so yes, he called me today. I didn't have to call him, so that was a very good sign. And I don't know if you heard me say he was going to offer apologies, but he said, I'm not going to even give excuses. Just been a lot going on. So, but we are on the right track. He is working on it. He's bringing the consultant on. We're going to review all that information from our prospecting session and then meet with you all again with Matt to kickstart this fundraising campaign and move forward.
Okay. Susan, what does a consultant do for this project? Tell me a little bit and tell the group how that might look.
So what it's going to look like is it will give the foundation someone who has experience in housing on campus to help guide us through this process. Because as you all have found out, there's a lot of legalities with Greeks that we want to make sure we don't violate anything, but that we continue to move this in the right direction. So having someone who has that background and experience to help us through this process, and as well to make sure we have a long-term plan for the other Greek organizations, because I know a concern has been, what if we're by ourselves? But I still would like to go back to, you might be better by yourself than in a slumlord situation in Carbondale. So I think our options are still looking really good on campus.
You're good.
Well, I never heard it like that before, but you're true.
Yeah, if it were, oh, somebody's without power. Yeah, if it were my son that I was going to be sending to campus, I wouldn't care if they were by themselves instead of putting them somewhere in Carbondale.
Wow, it's
right.
wild.
Susan, Chuck Schaub,
Uh-huh.
what role does campus housing have with this project? Are they in the
So,
fold here
They will
somewhere?
have a role. They have been in the fold. That I know that Matt has been making some phone calls. I do not know what he has talked to housing about directly. He did not give me that information, and I'll add that. From what I understand, he's going to be on the train with me tomorrow. So I will ask him about housing. I do know, and I'm just gonna be very honest with you all, because Tom, I was honest with you in St. Louis that night. We've mentioned meeting with Dr. Bergen, the Vice Chancellor, and that is not a good idea right now, because I can't say he is for this, but the Chancellor is, so that's all that matters. And I told Matt, I said, we're gonna let you handle Dr. Bergen. So, and Matt still has the Chancellor's ear. The Chancellor is staying as of right now. He did not get the job in New Mexico. So that kind of was a relief for a lot of us that we can continue to move forward with a lot of things.
Well, Susan, this is Taj Davis. What's the Vice Chancellor's hang up? Do you know? Can you share?
He says that SIU is not, well, and this is going to infuriate. I don't know if I should tell you, be this transparent, but I am, because I've always been honest with you all. He's concerned about the have-nots. He considers AGRs and ag to be haves. And what about the other groups that aren't able to raise the money? And Matt said, we figure that out, but you don't hold up progress because you're worried somebody else can't keep up.
Yeah, you don't want me to talk with that guy.
See, that's why I'm just being honest with you all. We need to let the Chancellor and Matt handle that part of it. I can tell you, like you all heard from those of you here for Founders Day, you heard from the coordinator of Greek Life, and she is all for. She knows the Greeks need this. So the people that are in the right, we've got the people in the positions in the right places that are ready to move this forward. I'm not giving up yet. I can tell you that. We're not done.
No, we don't want to be done either. We've got plenty to do yet.
Yes, we do.
So,
But I was relieved to hear from Matt today, because Tom knows I've been frustrated too. I've got 3 really big projects, and Matt has been so busy. I have not heard from him. It was over 2.5 weeks. So.
Susan, this is Al.
Mhm.
So maybe help us understand is what other roadblocks or what other obstacles seem to be sitting in the wings someplace that we need to be aware of, maybe coming at us in this project?
I think the main one is these first hurdles to get through, to get us organized, to know that you all in campus have the same vision as far as the detailed vision. You have the same vision as what the Chancellor has and what Greek Life has. So the biggest hurdle is getting that process in place to know we are moving forward. And I think when the buildings start coming down, that's going to be a huge step forward. I think once we get through this initial part, the rest of it, now I'm not gonna lie, building a building there's gonna be hurdles. When you're dealing with building and contractual issues in Illinois, it is not an easy process, as you all know that live here. But I really think that once we get this nailed down, the direction we're going with the details to it, I don't see any roadblocks from that point forward.
Do you, just to follow up with that, and I know this maybe not, I guess I just want some reaffirming here that, do you really have a good feeling that Matt's really on board with us in all of this, or, willing to stick to this thick and thin?
Yes, he is. I am 100% confident he is still on board with this.
It's going to be very important.
Yes.
Because if all of a sudden, he's drops out of the scene or something else comes up kind of in the middle of this, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, that's why we need to get the details lined out early on so that everybody's in agreement. So no matter what happens, this project is moving forward. I think I've mentioned it to several of you at Founders Day, but it is public now. I know I've told some of you this, but the dean, and it has nothing to do with you all in this project, but Dr. Brevik is actually going back to faculty January 1. The search committee meets next Tuesday. I met with the provost one-on-one yesterday. So the college has got some changes coming, but it's okay. I think it's time for us to move forward in that aspect as well. So.
Susan, it's Rick. I know based on that last meeting in Effingham, the biggest hurdle that came up at the end was this 501c3 donating to that and not being able to get a larger than 5-year lease. Is there anything happening on that front?
That I would need to check with Angie, our compliance officer. He did not give me any update on that today. But I can tell you our conversation was about a 3-minute conversation because he thought he was headed to the airport. But I'm making a note to follow up on that.
Because I think that's going to be an important one for us, that we're going to need something. I think we've all kind of talked about this, something larger than 5 years.
5 years. I agree with you. Yes. And if the university is giving the foundation a longer lease on the foundation building, I don't understand why they can't do that with the housing building. I will make note of that and follow up with Matt on that one.
Okay, thanks.
To go along with that also, everybody, I know I came up with founders about trying to put together more of a building we can get maybe more tax deductions towards education. And that's definitely something I want to look at also, more study areas, larger libraries, something that we can expand on some of the tax deductibility. But Rick and I have talked about this many times. We need some direction here from, I think, the university on where we go with this building. We've got some plans out there, and the university architecture school is putting together 15 new plans. And at some point, somebody's going to have to say, hey, we need to be uniform here in this small group housing.
Yeah.
Our building that we put together is huge. And I can tell you right now, in walking through the middle of Greek Road, nobody else has the land to do what we're trying to do. And that's going to be an issue, I think. So I need some feedback on what we're doing as far as building types and how big they're going to be. That question came up long time ago. And Matt just more or less said whatever we want to do. But I think there's going to have to be some kind of guidelines on this.
And I think that's where that consultant will also come in handy to help sort of develop that and get it into the campus master plan. That's one of the pivoting points for you all will be to get the consultant and get some things ironed out as far as, like you said, Chuck, types and size and what are the options, but then to get what the consultant comes up with into the campus master plan. And once it's in the master plan, that gives you all even more leverage.
Right. Yeah, that's the feedback we need.
Yes. So, and
Okay.
I do know that they talked about the campus master plan at the last Board of Trustees meeting. So there is progress. That progress is moving.
Okay. Good.
And I will
Well,
tell
we're
you
looking-
all, I really like the provost. She's very real. She's very good. She's very supportive of ag. So she knows we're strong programs.
Very good. I appreciate it.
Susan?
So how about I'm happy to answer any other questions. Yeah.
Susan, as we try to navigate through this, what do you feel is the role of Chancellor Lane in bringing together the different parties to coalesce around one plan?
Oh, I think he's going to be a big part of it. But again, he is for this. He was Greek. That's another positive in all of this. But the chancellor's not one that gets down and dirty when he supports something. He's not going to get into the day-to-day planning. You'll have to answer it to everyone. Oh my goodness, be safe, tornado warning. That's crazy. Yeah, don't get blown away up there. So yes, the chancellor, I think he will be involved just from what I see. Again, I'll have to defer that one to Matt because he's closer to him than anybody on campus. So
Okay, thank you.
that's not really a question I can answer completely. Just, I know he's supportive because he's told me he is.
Sounds good.
All right, so with that, as soon as we get to Kaluki Ball, I will touch base with Matt and then get back with you, Tom and Trey, to make sure we set a meeting up with Matt and all of you to sort of get our next steps lined out and give you more of an update on the consultant and the lease, the chancellor's role, and where we go from here. Chuck, that you brought up with and what options will be available.
Sounds good. Susan, really appreciate you being on the call tonight and updating us. And we'll look forward to some conversation after the Saluki Ball.
Yes, I will be ready for the ball to be over.
Sounds good. Anybody else?
All
have
right,
any
see you
other
guys. Stay safe out there.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank-
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Susan.
see you guys.
Bye now. We have come to the end of our agenda for tonight. Does anybody have any feedback? Any other comments? And if not, we'll adjourn.
You guys probably want me to shut up, but
No, we don't. We want to hear it.
thank you for the question, Rick. Thank you for the excellent point, Chuck. I think we have to keep pushing. Susan's not really the one to push because she's in our camp, but right now that's who we got to push to get to Matt. I am shaking in my confidence of this whole thing happening, though I do realize that if they do tear those buildings down and they do have it budgeted, that is a major step in the right direction. My confidence hasn't been super high this whole time, and it's shaking right now. So that's just my thoughts.
Well, I'll add to that everything has been kind of on a hold here for some time now. And that's not a very big morale booster for sure. I want to add too, to Mike Nauman's summer meeting. We do still want to put together any updates we have on housing and drawings and renderings. So Rick and I will work on that, and we'll get together and put together something there for the that weekend also. Because we want to keep everybody going on where we're at and what we're working on.
This is Kevin. I've been blinking on and off here quite a bit. It's kind of nasty here. And electricity goes out, then I lose internet, and then generator goes on, then it kicks off, and electric comes back on, and it goes out again. So I missed most of Susan.
I'd like to say something to Al and Tom and the whole team that's been working with the chapter. I can't thank you enough, and your efforts and time has been really, really appreciated. And the biggest thing about this whole project is you can go out there and build a tool shed, but if you haven't got anything to put in it, why are you building a tool shed?
Completely agree.
Well, I will add to that, Rick, is we have been stressing to the active chapter almost every time we meet, and that is that their record keeping system and our record keeping system as alumni has to get a lot better, because we can't invest in a new house if we have no idea what we're doing financially. And that's just the way it is. And I think that it's finally sunk into them that at least on the active chapter side, they're never going to get a new house if they can't get their house in order. And so I think, again, that's a real positive realization on their part. And we have the exec council in the House is now taking now 100% ownership into fixing all of this stuff and getting back on the right track. And I think that's again, we're not there yet, but we are moving in the right direction. So that's really good.
Thanks.
And
Also for me, Al, you hit it on the head there. And the active members, they got to know they won't see the house. It's the guys 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now will have the opportunity for a new house. And what the guys there now do determine what's going to happen 4 or 5 years from now.
Yep.
And I think also because we are, as the alumni, are going to take control of the billing of the rent and not leave that up to the actives, that's going to be a big step forward. And we'll be able to monitor it monthly to make sure that the billing is there and it is correct and it will go out correct. Because the last year, 2 months, billing disappeared and it was never even billed. So something's wasn't happening right. And Al found all this. And so, if we're the landlords, you don't let the leasee control the billing. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I think by doing it this way, it's going to be a big step forward in us being able to control what's being billed and what's being collected. And by billing it in advance of the month that it's needed, so that it's paid on the first of the month that it's needed, instead of a month behind, is also going to be a big step forward. So I see a big road, a big way out of this. And I think it's going to happen, probably not fully until the fall, but I think it will happen by then.
Any other comments for the good of the order? Our next meeting will be at summer reunion, and we'll continue on, and we'll go from there. I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate everybody's input and hard work, and I think we're on the right track.
Keep pushing them, Tom. And if we have to have a meeting between now and summer meeting, I'd love to have one if that means developments from SIU.
Yeah.
Or if they continue to go radio silent.
I'm gonna give him a jab. Every other month is June. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, there you go.
So is it going to be 3 months?
No, actually, we're going to meet the first week of May. And even if Tom's on vacation, he's going to have to call in and spend time,
They're teasing you, Tom. They're teasing you.
I know you are, and I deserve it. I deserve it. I guess Rick Hyatt, you raised a point. April to May, May to June, and then that comes in a month shy of summer meeting.
You're going to want the meeting in June just to help Mike, finish things up.
Yeah. So let me look at the date and see if everybody here can coalesce around that. The fourth Thursday would be the 20th. The third Thursday is the 20th, the 4th is the 27th. Anybody have any problems with that? How about 27th?
I think I can do the third. I don't think I can do the fourth, Tom.
I can't do the third. I'll be in Colorado hiking.
Oh, you're gonna be celebrating Juneteenth?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He said the 27th of June.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
But yeah, I can do the 27th, but I can't do the 20th.
Yeah.
So who cannot do the 27th?
I think that's me, Tom. Let me check. Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. We're gonna be out in Connecticut that week, so
Okay.
that's okay. I'll try to call in.
Yeah. On the road again. We'll schedule it for June 27th, and that'll be a good prelude to summer reunion in July and anything we need to finish up. And then that'll be almost a cutoff date for reservations at the hotel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we're good. Thanks for raising that point, Rick Hyatt, about the calendar. That eluded me until tonight. And we're good. I wish everybody a safe evening. Stay dry, stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. And if anything comes up from the university that's really substantial, we'll be back on the horn again whenever we need to be there.
Thanks, Tom.
right.
Appreciate it.
If you think of
Thanks,
any
Don.
questions, don't hesitate to call me. I'll probably hear from you, Rick.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, you
Go to the
will.
bourbon bar.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.